So, good evening, dear participants. Welcome again to session 2 of this machine learning module by Dr. Salman Sadullah Usmani. Dr. Usmani has already joined, and without wasting time, I am handing over session to sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, but you have to speak a little bit loudly.
Okay, that's fine. So, welcome, every guys. It's the second session of this machine learning part. So yesterday we have talked about the importance or the basic, or you could say the introduction of the machine learning. If there is any doubt or anything, I always say that you could write down to me. I try to answer each and every query. Till now, I have always answered every mail. If anyone has left, I don't think so. If anyone has left, so if you have any query, any doubt, you could always write down to me. Now we will move to the next part. So today it will be more kind of a hands-on. So you will have a glimpse, or you could say. You will do with me simultaneously what I'm going to do. So it's my humble request that everyone must open their Anaconda, or if they have the Jupyter notebook. So it must have been said in the Python and other things. So there was lecture about the installing Anaconda and doing Python practice on the Jupyter notebook. So it's my humble request, everyone, please open it. It will take few minutes to open it. I already have opened that. So once you will open it, so someone just type in the message box, okay, they are ready to proceed. Now, so let me share my screen. That will be okay. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. This is just to tell you what we are going to do. Although in your schedule, it has been about the data set preparation, the feature selection. But what I prefer is that we should go with a little bit of coding. I mean, we should try to do a little project within these 2 to 3 days. That will be the best way to go further. That will be the best way. If you could do a one project in this 2 days session, that will boost your confidence, and you will know that this is machine learning is not a big task and you could do it. So we'll try to complete first project in machine learning within today's session as well as tomorrow's session. So what we are going to do today is that first, although it's not this step, you must have already done it. So is this, you have already downloaded the Python and SciPy and most useful packages. So if you are doing in the Anaconda, it's already contained the packages for this. So this line is for those guys who didn't have the Anaconda and they want to write down directly on some terminal. If they have the Linux machine, they want to write down in their terminal. If they have the Mac, they want to write down in the terminal. So for them, they have to install SciPy packages and other things. But I know that everyone has, because this workshop has been framed like this, that you are having Anaconda and the Jupyter. So having the ID makes the things very easy, but you are a very advanced user, so you could directly write down on your terminal, and then you have to install the things. Okay, then we'll try to load the data set, and we'll see. We'll try to understand its structure, and we'll summarize the data set by some statistical meaning and some visualization techniques. So this we will do so that we will have a better idea about the data sets. And then most probably, I don't know whether it will be possible to cover it today, or most probably by tomorrow, we will try to develop 6 machine learning models and see which one is actually performing best on this data set. So in this way, you will develop various models and see how to evaluate the model, how we check the performance of the model by implementing some statistical measurement. So this is what we are going to do in this machine learning project. So the next one is this is just to tell you what is the basic step in machine learning project. First, you have a defined problem, then you prepare the data, then you evaluate algorithms, improve result, and present the result. So this is a feedback kind of process. You evaluate algorithm, you see the results, you want to improve it. So then again, you do some changes in your data set, or apply some other things in your data set, and then again evaluate algorithms on different parameters. And once you have having the improved result, then only you present the result. So the first step could be downloading, installing, and starting Python SciPy. So there are 5 key libraries which is needed actually in the machine learning project. This SciPy and NumPy, you already know about this. This matplotlib is actually a package for the Python which is used to visualize or plotting the graph. This Panda, you already know about this Panda in the previous lectures. And this sklearn is specialized machine learning, or you could say this is scikit-learn. So this is the machine learning package built on the Python. The sklearn is Python based machine learning package. So this is most important thing what we are going to explore. This is sklearn. No, now the next step is you have to, second step is we have to load the data. So in this project, what I have chosen is that as if you are starting coding, so the first code you write about the hello world. So similarly in machine learning, the hello world is kind of a iris data. So this is a very old data. I think it's coming from the 1936 by a British statistician, which is having a data set coming from the 3 species of iris flower. So we'll have that data, we'll import those libraries and see what we could do on that data sets. Then we'll summarize the data set. We'll see the dimension of the data, what is the peak of the data. We'll calculate some statistical summary and then break down the data by class variables. Then we will try to visualize the data by univariate or multivariate plots. And then we will make the training and testing data set. We'll do some 5-fold or 10-fold cross validation. We'll try to develop different models to predict species from flower measurement, and then we'll select the best model. So this is what we are going to do in today, as well as something maybe this last step may not be covered today. So that may be of tomorrow. So we'll try to cover up these things. Okay. So now I am sharing my Conda. So this is what I was just checking before the presentations to what to teach and what not. Is my screen is visible to everyone? Pardon me. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, so there is a query. Someone has said that are we going to do only on the iris data set? So what I thought that it's always better to start and end the whole project within that. So iris data set is a very limited data set, very short data set. So it will be better for the beginners to understand each step. Then on the third day, I'll try to do the on a very, I'll learn very fast on the final day, and I'll try to do this on some bigger data sets. So my aim is to give all the steps on at least 2 data sets. So that will be easy for the beginner as well as for the advanced learner both. So right now for the today and most probably by tomorrow, we are going to do this only on the iris data set. Okay. So let me open a new Python kernel. So let me rename it as first ML project. Okay. So the first step is that you have to check what the libraries are actually needed into this, and do you have those libraries or not. So this is the first step. So I'm starting from the scratch. So if you didn't have done any ML project, you don't have to worry. So this step will be needed only the first time. That once you will start doing some machine learning projects, you don't need to do this. So I'm just going to check, or if you want to check, how you will check whether everything has been installed correctly and what version you are actually using onto this. So Conda I have already have. So I'm just going to check what Python this Anaconda is actually using. I will import this and then print I'll just going to print this as, okay, Python. Format this version. Okay. So no, so let me just give me a minute. There is some error. I have to
Sir, can
install
you
some.
please zoom out your window?
Okay.
Zoom in. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
ಅಮ್ಮ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಗು ತಂದಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ದು.
Okay. So you could see this first. I'm just checking this what version of Python has been installed onto my version. So it's good. It's the updated version. Then it's fine.
So Dr. Salman, is it possible to put the code in the chat box so that they can do it simultaneously?
Okay, that's fine. So someone has that how to install this Jupyter notebook. Oh, I have missed previous session how to install this Jupyter notebook. Sorry, I'm late where I can find the data set. So you don't have to worry about the data set. I didn't talk about the data set, but this Jupyter notebook, you have to install the Anaconda. And in the Anaconda, its Jupyter notebook is already there. So this is for you, Nasreen. Maybe you have to go for some recording what you have been provided. So, okay. So this is, I'm just checking just to see your Conda or your Jupyter is using which version of Python. So in this way, you will see the each step I am just pasting on the chat box also. So you could copy paste into your Jupyter and see whether you are, what output you are actually getting. So maybe mine output or your output may be different. You may have the updated version because if you have installed it in the previous session, because I am using it from the past few years.
Salman, you have messaged me the code, so you have to
okay,
paste the code to everyone.
Everyone in meeting.
Yeah.
So okay, now this the what I have typed here have been pasted in the chat box also. So this is how to import or do the to check the version. Next thing, what we need, I'm just going to check, as I said in my previous slide, we need SciPy, NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas, and sklearn. So I'm going to see the all the versions of this, and you have to import this. You have to call first whatever library you are going to use. You have to call it for your code. So I'll call it, as well as I'll see the I'll try to see what version I am actually using. So if there is any outdated version, it's better. It's always better to install update the thing. So now I'm going to import all the libraries what we are going to use, or what will be used in the in the codes. So first will be import pandas. We already know that panda, import pandas. Okay. Then we also need NumPy. matplotlib and sklearn. So there could be two way. Either you just import everyone. All this is here. So import pandas as PD. This I prefer to write it as this. So whenever I have to call some package from the panda, I don't have to write all the panda. I will just write as a PD. Then import matplotlib, and next is numpy also we need. So import numpy and import sklearn. Obviously we need sklearn, scikit-learn, and also scipy we need import scipy. So you must know that this is just to execute this command. If you are using a Windows system, you have to press Alt key as well as Enter. So this will execute. So it will take few minutes to execute this command because we are actually calling a lot of libraries. So till now I have typed what I have imported here. So once this command will be executed, you will see this numbers have been changed. So okay, that means all the libraries have been executed here. Now I just want to check the version of these all these libraries, whether they are updated or not. So this means print what pandas. There is something I have written. Okay, because I didn't have called pandas, so I just called it as PD. Just give me a minute. Sharing has been stopped, I think. So I just want to check the panda. So I have imported this as a panda. So I think there was some error in the what I have written previously. So my panda is actually using this version. So I'm pasting this on the chat box again. Similarly, you could see the versions of other things also. Like if I want to see the version of NumPy or scikit-learn, I'll type simply print sklearn from sklearn.version. Sklearn dot version. So in this way, you could see that whatever the version we are actually using. So similarly, we could check it for other things also. Let me just write it down. Sklearn NumPy. Okay, from NumPy version this. This was actually 2 hyphen. I just have typed 1. That's why initially it was giving error. NumPy version. Okay. And next, what we have installed, Matplotlib. Mat. Mat. Yeah. So we have checked. I think every SciPy is also left. Next is print SciPy. Yeah. So I think everyone must have got some outputs here also. If there is any issue with someone's output, they can talk to me. They can always paste in the chat box. I'll not say to unmute or say, because it will mix up the thing. But you could always write down if there is any error. So we don't. I don't have any time issues today. It's Saturday. It's my weekend. I'm totally free. So we can extend this session beyond 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or even to the 2 hours. So at any step, if you are facing any issue you don't understood, you don't get it, you could always ask the question. So is there any doubt why we are using this library? Or I mean, is everything is clear till now? If there is any questions, you could write down to me. I will wait for a minute if someone has query, or they can raise their hand if there is some query. So there have been detail the error, or else it's impossible to guess the try PD instead of what you want to say. We're still getting error while calling for the version. Print pandas format panda version done. We're still getting error while calling for the version. So what is the Padmini? What do we need to check? Why do we need to check the version? Attribute error is coming, getting error. Module pandas has no attribute version. So there is some actually typing error. Initially I too have typed. So this actually has 2 hyphen. This version what I have typed here is 2 hyphen instead of 1. Just paste it like what I have typed. So it you will see that this is fine. I mean, you will see that there is no error now. Done. Still getting, why no the attribute is getting error, title the error also. Yeah, please paste the codes to the check version for all the libraries as well. Attribute error. Let me type it again. Let's suppose that just check it for the NumPy instead of Panda, because initially what I have typed into the chat box, there was error into that. It contains 2 hyphen instead of 1. So this is actually 2 hyphen. So I just have typed 1. That's why the error was getting. So this is you check the version. So someone has asked why to need to check the version. So it's always because
Hello,
hello,
Dr. Salman.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. So I I am handing over session to you now. I am
Okay, that's
going. Okay, sir.
That's fine. That's fine. So it's just that once you are doing it first time, you should know what NumPy version, whatever you are writing, or if you will do, someone has asked why it's need to check the version. So if you are writing your manuscript, if you are writing your paper, you always has to write down in the material and method that you have used this library with this version. So if you are not knowing what version you are using, how you write down your manuscripts. That's a very essential step where you write down, I use scikit-learn with the package version this, and this. All the package and the version should be written in the manuscript. So that's why I have said whatever the code you are, it's always better to know what version, what library you are actually using. So yeah, I haven't shared anything, so it's not visible. So that's why we have printed the version of this libraries. Now, okay. So the next step is we have got all the versions. So the next step is we are going to load the data or import libraries as well. Okay. So first I'm going to load the data set. So as I said, with the iris data set, so this iris, as I said, this iris data set is equivalent to the hello world in the machine learning. So all the machine learning packages like the scikit package, or if you are going to do this machine learning in the R, they already have this iris data set. So you could install it by, so you can install it by this code. Let me paste it because I already have checked initially what I have to demonstrate you today, each steps. So you could see this from sklearn. Okay, so from the sklearn.dataset, we already have imported the sklearn. So whatever the library into this, all the library have been imported. So from the sklearn.dataset, we are going to import the load iris dataset, and then we'll try to see what is into the iris dataset. So this system I'm not going to paste into this because I'll demonstrate another way to call this dataset. So here you could see the output. First I have from the scikit-learn datasets, I have imported the load iris datasets, and I'm just going to see this load iris. I just call it into variable iris, and then I'm just printing it out, outputting whatever has been stored in this iris variable. So this you could say, so it contains array, so some numeric values. Okay, then we have this. So this is 150. Then we have target, and why I choose this data set is because this has some specific characteristics, like it's a typical classification problem first. Another is that it has many attributes, like it's kind of a multivariative. So we have 4 classes, and you could say yesterday it's a classical example of supervised classification learning. So I told you in the yesterday session that the difference between the supervised learning and unsupervised learning is the labeling of the data. We label the data into supervised learning. So here you could see that this has 4 kind of labels: 0, 1, 2. I mean, it's 3 labels, sorry. So it has been labeled, and then it's 3 labels: 0, 1, 2, and then this is some other information about the data set, like it has 4 classes, that is Setosa, Versicolor, Virginia. These are the 3 classes which has been labeled with 0, 1, and 2. And this contains sepal length in centimeter, sepal width in centimeter, petal length, as well as petal width. Okay, so this is giving all the, so there is no missing attribute. It's a pure fully data. There is no missing value, and this is some example from where it has been taken other things. So if you so it has been stored in the Anaconda in the site package sklearn dataset data.iris.csv. So here. So another way, if you are having any issue, let me show you. Stop sharing, and then again I'm going to share my data page. Okay, so so you could see this is the data set, the same data set which is stored at this particular address. Here you could see this is the features, or you could see the parameters, that is sepal length, sepal width, and other things. And this is the class. This is Iris setosa. So this is actually three coming from three species: Iris setosa, Iris versicolor, and Iris virginica. So that has been classified as 0, 1, and 2. That has been labeled as 0, 1, and 2 in that particular data set. Okay. So yeah, and this is other things. So another way could be of loading the data set is to call it. So first we have load the data set from this, and another way is just to because I assume that everyone, whenever you will do the project, you will have data set into your some working directory or some folders, and you have to call from that. And I assume that that data set must be in CSV format or in Excel format. Most of the time we have our data set into that particular format only. So I assume you too will have the same format. So you will have to load the data set. So first step is the loading the data set. Load data set. So whenever we type this hyphen, so that means it's a comment. So we are going to load it from the URL. So the URL is this.
Sir, could you
Yes.
please copy it in the chat box so that we could
Yes.
following the steps?
Yeah, I follow. I don't know why this screen is not visible. Okay. So is that my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, I'll light it. I'll light it in the so whole step. I'm going to type 3 commands here. So then again, then I'll type all those 3. So loading the data. So then we are going to, because you have seen the data set on the on this address. So they didn't have any, you could say, column name or something. So we are going to name it. So naming will be like sepal length, and then sepal width, and then next is length, then data was to pd dot read CSV. So as I have already, installed the Panda. So when I said pd.read and then press the tab, so whatever the attributes in the pandas will be automatically here. So you could read Excel, you could read clipboard, feather, whatever. So I'm just going to use the function pd.read CSV for the URL as well as names is equals to names, because I have put it into names. Okay. So this has been executed, and now I just typed whatever I have written into this. So this has been typed into the chat box, so you could copy paste at the thing. So that means my data set has been now loaded. So what I have done first, it has been connected from this, and from this URL, the file has been downloaded, and we have given this names to the column. So once I'll see this data set, so you will see Okay, this has been in a CSV format, and it has around 150 rows and 4 columns. So this is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. So this is my data, and we have coming from this 3 species, Setosa virginica, and another vesicolor or something. So this is my data, 150 into 4 arrays. So the ideal, because whenever you will see some machine learning tutorials or something, you will always get this data set, because it is known as, you could say, the Bible of the machine learning, or the first verse of the machine learning, you could say. First point of the data. So has 4 attributes, I mean 4, you could say, features. It is a classical example of multivariative classification, because we have 3 classification, not just 2, yes or no, we have 3. So we have 0, 1, and 2. And besides this, I think this is a numeric attribute. So we have this numerical attribute, so it will be better to calculate the thing. And there is nothing missing values, so you don't have to impute some value or something. So this data set is very fine and very, well managed. So that's why we have chosen this example. So once you have done with loading the data set, everyone has done this loading the data set. Yeah. So now we are going to summarize this data set. We'll try to see how we could, see the data set, whether this is fine or not. Although one you could say this is one way we already know this has contains 150 rows or the 4 columns. But sometimes when we are dealing with a large data set, we don't want to see from this, or we want to execute everything in a single code. So then later you see the output after which is better. But once you are submitting your code to something, you will write it into the terminal or
Excuse
something.
me, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, there is variation in your volume. Could you please speak a little bit louder?
Okay. So let me check mine. So it's 100. Okay. So whenever, because in the Jupyter, after each step you get it, the output also. But once you are submitting your code somewhere on some GitHub or something, you write into the manner, so the final output comes into executing whole program with one go. So there is some steps, like if I want to see the dimension, or if I want to summarize the data, I want to more about this data set. So there are some commands which you should know, although it may seem that it's not useful here, but it is useful. So like I just want to know the shape of my data set. So what I will type is shape. I mean, this is just to make sure. So I'm just going to print data sets dot dataset shape. So you know that this is just type the tab keyword, and it already contains this function into the dataset. So you will see this contains 4 columns and 154 rows. So once you will write the whole code in a single go, so this command will be useful there, and you could know whatever the dataset you have. And I just want to see, if I want to see only the 20 or 50, something like that. So there will be head. I just want to see print data set dot head. So you know that head, how much I just want. Okay, 10 is enough. So you could see this 10 from the top one is already taken from the head, data set. So this 2, again, I'm pasting it into the chat box. Okay, so this value is not coming. Pooja Priyadarshini, which value? 150 by 4 is not coming. It's not possible. You must have done some error. 150 into 4. Definitely, if you have load the data set, just okay. So you just load this data set first. Just load this. I'm again typing all the steps. Just load the data set, and okay, let me load the data set, and then just type this shape. It looks like the Yeah, this is. Someone has pointed a very good thing that the whole data set, the columns are shifted. Yeah, obviously this has shifted. This has taken this has taken at as a index, and these are having, this has been shifted. Yeah, so you are right into this. This has been shifted. Okay, just give me a moment. Sepal length, petal width, petal length, petal. Just give me a moment. Yeah, this has been shifted. So I must have done some error. Okay, because I have not pasted the class. I'm sorry for this error because I haven't typed this class. I just have taken this as a 4 value. If you see into this, we have 5 into the data set: sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and then class. So I just missed this class here. So that's why it has taken that has been shifted. So if you will type right now, so if you type this again, just type it again what I have pasted in the chat box, and then if you want to see the data set, you will see this correctly. Or if you are going to print this head, now you see this as taken as okay. So initially what is that the first step is taken as an index, but although it was not the index, so because I just have defined 4 classes, 4 sub columns. So if you type it again, what I have pasted into this, you will see that now the columns have been exactly labeled. Okay, done.
Could
Then
you
fine.
please explain this again? I couldn't get
Okay, let
why
me
this.
explain. Let me explain what happened. So from this, what we are doing is from this URL, first we are downloading the CSV file. Okay, that CSV file has 5, you could say 5 uh, column, or you could say 5 values separated by the comma. Okay, so that means each column in the CSV, the files have been separated by the comma. So that means from till 1 comma, it is 1 column. So we have 5. So initially what I have given this, I have just given the 4 names: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. I missed this class. So the first column, it has taken as an index. That was my error. I apologize for that. It has 5 values. So already I have to give 5 names. The 5th one is the class. So then again, I just read the CSV file from this and executed this column name or the header into that. So now if you are seeing the data, it has taken correctly this as a sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and this is the class. So initially it was error because I missed it. So it was taken from this to this. Okay. So now we have 150 rows, and when or another way could be just to head the data set. Again, you see this is the index from 0 to 9. So indexing always start in the Python from 0 to from 0. Then this is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and a class. This is our clean data set, you could say. Okay, so whenever you will do the project, you will always find some errors or something. Unknown URL. No, why it's unknown URL? So I just have typed this only URL from this, and it is executing. Maybe you are missing something. I'm just again typing it. There should be no unknown URL or something. It must execute. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
have
a
copied
question.
you have copied the URL from website. So that means you have made some comma or something. You have missed it. Yeah, please ask the question. Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be under the quotes.
For the data set, it's actually showing the first column is not 0, 1, 2, 3. It's 5, 1,
Yeah,
4, 9.
so initially what I have pasted was wrong. I missed one class. So what I have pasted right in the load data set, just copy this
Yeah.
and paste it again. So you will see now it's fine, because initially what I have pasted, I missed this last class. So I just have defined 4 subcolumns. So the first row it has taken as an index. That was my fault. I apologize for that.
Okay.
What I have
Okay,
pasted
thank you.
right now, just paste it again. So you will see it's fine now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have loaded the data set and we have seen some peak of the data also. Okay, now we are going to see some summary of this data set, how this data set is actually summary of data set. Okay, so or you could say description. It is also known as description, because there is a function called description into the data set. Okay, so what I'm going to print data set dot describe. Okay, describe my whole data set. Okay, so now there is a function in the data set dot describe. So it will describe my data set. Okay, so in the sepal length, that is in the first column, we have 150 counts. That's fine. We have 150 sepal width. We have 150 sepal length, as well as sepal, petal width. So that means you could see that if our data is not clean or something, or if some rows are more, we could see that this number may vary. If we are dealing with some other data set, if you are having some own data set, so this command will be useful to know the summary of your data set. So the mean of this first row is something around 5.8. For the sepal width, it's around 3.0. This is for the other things. So standard deviation is this, minimum value is 4.3 and the maximum value is 7.9, and it also gives 25 and 50% and 75% percentile value. So in this way, you could know the summary or describe your data set. So again, I have typed this into the chat box. So this is a very good command to summarize or to describe your data set. Another way could be, as we have 3 classes, that is iris. I forget this name, iris vesicular, iris Ceuta, and iris setosa, vesicular, and virginica. So we have 3 classes that we want to see from the 150 how these have been classified, how many rows are coming from iris setosa, other thing. So that means I just want to know the class distribution. So for this class distribution, it is the command for the data set. It should be grouped by data set, grouped by what? By class. Okay. So group by class dot on which size, how many are actually their size, class type. Okay, so once you will do this from your data set, you exactly know how many are coming from which class. So I have typed this command again. So you could say that it is a very equally distributed data set. Iris setosa has 50 values, or you could say the 50 data sets, 50 data point. Iris vesicular has 50 and iris virginica has 50. So we have 150. So it is very Similarly, or you could say same classification 50, 50, 50. So if you have some other data set, these numbers may differ when you type this. So it has been classified or it has been grouped by class into these three. Okay, now we know how it has been completely distributed and how this classes has been completely distributed. Is there any query till now? Does anyone face some issues or something? If there is any query, you could raise your hand, so it will be easy for me to say. I don't think so there is any query. Everyone has done till now. Okay, that's fine. Now we are going to visualize the data. So visualization could be done by either univariate plot, that is single plots, and another way could be multivariate plot. That could be, I mean, plotting on two different parameters is actually known as multivariate plots. Two different or on different variables. Okay, so it could be so many plots are there in the matplotlib. So the basic one is box and whisker plot as well as histogram. So let's see how this is coming into the histogram. Now I'm just going to the third step, that is data visualization. Actually, these things are very useful when you don't know much about your data. You just have got the CSV file. So let's suppose if someone has mailed me with some data, so I don't know how he has curated, from where he has curated. So these are the very useful command. With one command, I'll get much more information about your particular data, but whatever you have worked with. So this will give a greater idea about the data set. So this is very useful into the category. So the data visualization, first I'm just going to see by histogram. Okay, so this is the command for histogram, and histogram is data set dot. Data set dot. So you could see that data set has a lot of attributes. And once I type that pyplot dot show, it will give some errors. Some error. So this should give some error. Yeah, pyplot is not defined. Yeah. So this actually gives some error because I didn't define the pyplot. I defined matplotlib as something directly. So another command I could type as import matplotlib as pyplot, because the pyplot I have not defined initially.
So if you will remove that pyplot.show, it will run. It is running.
Pyplot. So actually, I have not, I have not imported the pyplot. So what I should write it from matplotlib, I should call pyplot, because this import I should all so this I should also matplot. So this is spelling error. Matplotlib. PLOT Yeah. Yeah. So now you see there is no error because now I have imported the pyplot also. So now you could see whatever the data it has been plotted into some graph. So this is for the first row, sepal length. So you could say these are I mean for around 5 there have been 20 data which has some values around 5, some values around 4 point something or whatever. So this has been differentiated into this is value and this is the number frequency, you could say. Similarly for the sepal weight, for the petal length as well as petal width. So another could be box and whisker plot could be another way to visualize this data, because it may look, if it's a because it is a short, it's a very short data set or less data set. It has very less numbers, so it's fine to visualize in the histogram. But if it has thousands of rows, so it will be very difficult to analyze in this histogram. So then we definitely need the box and whisker. The box and whisker plot. What kind we are going to use this second box? Okay, and subplots should be true. Plots should be true. Okay, layout. Check what I have right here. Step checked it. Yeah. Share X, share Y false, and net pyplot show. So now you could see this has been plotted also. So let me just type the commands in the chat box. So this is for the histogram, and then this is for box and whisker plot. Okay. So now let me show you, let me explain this. So now we are going to plot. What kind of plot can you please share here? Yeah, I have shared above chat. So dataset.plot, what plot we are going to plot is, this is box plot, subplot. Okay, obviously these are subplots, and layout we have fixed the length 2 into 2, and then because each plot has different X and Y value, so we have put this share X and share Y as a false. Otherwise it must take one as a X value and one as a Y value. So that's why we have put false for the share X, share Y, and then we have visualize this. We have commanded pyplot.show. So this has been presented here. Now you could see in the box and whisker, most of the, you could see the mean value is coming at this.
So
Yeah,
your code is not showing in the chat box.
Could you please send in the everyone? It's always not in that.
Okay. So whenever someone type me, so when it goes to that particular. Okay. So whenever someone type the message, it goes to the particular. I'm sorry for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the things are not in the everyone section, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't actually observe this.
Yeah, I understand. It's always difficult to focus exactly on everything.
Yeah, this is okay. So that means whenever someone is posting, my answer is directly going to that particular guy. From matplotlib, first you have called the pyplot, then this for the data visualization, this data visualization histogram, and then this box and whisker plot. Okay, now I have typed all these three and it must be visible to everyone. So someone has posted some query. This is to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Everyone. Yeah. So NK has posted, I have this error attribute module matplotlib has no attribute to show. Yeah, matplotlib, actually we have given the pyplot.show. So this is not in the matplotlib. So this is one of the libraries, sub-library of the matplotlib. So you have to call the pyplot also. So I have here typed this from matplotlib import pyplot. So when you will import the PyPlot, then this show attribute is with the PyPlot sublibrary. So this you have to type. This you have to actually call. Now you could see this is actually visualized here. So all the data you could visualize in this graph. So whatever we have into the describe information, so we could see this green line in the box is actually giving the mean value. This is something around 5.7 or 5.8. Most of the values coming into the box, but the minimal value is something around 4.5 or and the maximum is around 8 for the sepal length. And same will go to the sepal width, and same will go to petal length as well as petal width. So this is how you will visualize your data, and you could know about the mean and other things.
Sir, what is meaning of this Sharex and Sherry both is equal to false?
Yeah, so share X and share Y, if I'll not type this share X and share Y, let me show you. So what will happen, it will have one X axis, because we know that this sepal length is different from the X axis for the sepal length is different. It has a minimum value around 4 and the maximum around the 8. But in case of width, the minimum value is around 2 to 4. So that means each plot should have different different X axis value. And obviously we are talking about so different Y axis value, and obviously this is sepal length. So the X axis is sepal length, here X axis is sepal Y and sepal length, and this. So that means when we have done it as a false, so this is not shared. So if it has not been given as a false, so each will be shared. So let me see what will be the output. So that okay. So same output we have got, but it will not be useful. I mean, when the values are different, if you have same column, so it's always defined. It's always good to define all the sub options of a particular command. It's always good to know all the commands. So that's why I have defined the share X as well as share Y.
I mean, if we will change it to true, maybe then it will work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so now
Sir, in second graph, spell width, what represent this circle, small circle, sir?
so there are some values which is coming to this, but this is actually taken with the standard deviation, and most of the value is coming here. So there are some values. So in the 150, actually what in the box which the plot you show, if you have plotted into Excel as well as into Prism or other software. So this means it contains the rest of the 130 or something values here. So those values are not you could say presented here, but there is one value something around 2. So you could see on this when we have defined this sepal width. So the minimum value is around 2. So this one was the minimum value, and the maximum is around 4.4. So there is 1 to 2 values which is lying above this. So this was the minimum. So most of the value comes here. This is the how box and whisker plot has been generated, and then this is standard deviation. Then few values coming outside of this box plot. Yeah, someone has exactly
Thank
answered. These are the outlier, and I have given this as the exact value or the one value. So we have seen the data set as univariate plot. Another way could be of seeing our data as multivariate. That means we have to compare, or we want to see our data how it is acting according to two variables. So if I'm not clear, I should explain it. Like here, this graph is just coming from the sepal length. We want to see how our data is corresponding to sepal length as well as sepal width. So that will be a multivariable plot. That means plotting something on two different variables. So now we are going to see how this multivariable plots will look like. So the best way is here to see the multivariable plot is actually scatter plot. Okay. what will be this scatter. So again, this is we have to call the scatter matrix library idea. If I directly type, it could be error. Okay. Let me check whether it is the library or not. I guess this command should not work. There must be some error. Yeah, because we have not called it. Scatter matrix is not defined. We have to define this scatter matrix. And this scatter matrix is Pandas plotting. That will work. Now you could say because we are here taking another variable scatter matrix or another attribute, so we have to import it first. We have not imported it initially. So from the pandas.plotting, we have imported the scatter matrix. And now you could see this has taken. So from the 4 data set, there will be 4 into 4, 16 combination is possible. I mean, yeah, sepal length with sepal width, sepal length with petal length, sepal length, its sepal width, and sepal to sepal. So that will be histogram. So 4 into 4, 16 combination is actually possible. So all the combination 2 variables have been plotted here, and you could see the graph of sepal length. So for the first, you could say for the first data point, if the sepal length is around something 4 and the petal width is around 1, this is how the scatter plot has been formed. This is how scatter plot is formed. So this is seeing your graph into 2 plots. So let me type this into the chat box so that you to execute the command.
Sir, if you don't mind, could you please explain this again? Scatter plot.
Yeah. So actually, what is the scatter plot? When you want to see some data on 2 different variables. So on the x-axis and the y-axis, you plot some dots, which is coming from the x and y-axis both. So for the first value, if I see, let me show you the data. Okay. So for this first class, if I am just going to plot iris yoda, I'm just going to plot on the 2 different variables, that is sepal length and sepal width. So on the x-axis, if I'm taking this sepal length as on the x-axis and sepal width on the y-axis, so the plot should be the point which should be 5.1 corresponding to the x-axis and 3.5 corresponding to the y-axis. So at that point there will be 1 dot. This is a scatter plot. For the second thing, at the x-axis it should be 4.9 and at the y-axis it should be 3. So at that point there will be a dot. That is scatter plot. So here if I see in this graph, okay, so this is sepal length and sepal width. So you could see this x-axis. So something around 4. This is coming from 4 to 8. Or we could once you will start coding better, you could rearrange this x-axis as your need. So this has taken as a by default values based on its own expertise. So because this has coming from the minimum data is something around 4. So at the 4 and the petal width should be at some value, it is less than this. So 1. The first example we have seen the sepal length and sepal width. So the 5 and something should be 3. So the first plot is some here. This is how this scatter plot has been generated.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
It's the scatter plot is coming, but name error pie plot is not defined. Why it is coming?
Pardon, I didn't hear your exact query.
That scatter plot is coming, but it's written like name error. Name pie plot is not defined.
So initially you have not defined the from matplotlib. You have not typed this line actually.
Oh, sir, I have done.
No. This you have missed. From matplotlib import pyplot. This you have missed. So this is about the data visualization, I think. Next is building the model. Yeah. Next is, I think, building the models, the step. Let me see in my PPT. Summarize data visualization. Okay. Building model. So is there, I think that's enough. That will be enough for today. Data set preparation. And because if I start building the model, it will not be possible to cover. It will be more than 1 hour. So we will run out of time. It will be of around 2.5 hour presentation. That will be too much. So it's better to start building the model tomorrow only. So that we could cover from all the steps. If there is any doubt, you could ask. If something is you don't understand or anything, you could simply ask.
Sir, actually, I have the query regarding this coding.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, today I did this all code. Okay, so like lot of code you did. I want to run again this coding maybe tomorrow, yeah, day after tomorrow. So how can be the like all together is one clicking I can do that this is possible in this Python?
So what happened is that this is what I always say, the Linux thing or the things comes into the play. So for this, Jupyter is good for IDE when you are writing the code. What I used to do, I'll tell me what how I do. I don't know about the others. So because right now I'm writing the code, and sometime when you are dealing with some new problems, writing one code may take 1 day, 2 day, or even a week to prepare a simple code. So at that time, I always try to run into this Jupyter thing and try to execute each command and see whether I'm going right or not. So this is my, you could say, rough coding. This is my rough coding. So now I have prepared my whole code, which I know for this particular problem, this will run. But this code I have to run 100 times on different data set. So for that, I make this in a single file, whatever name I will get, firstmlproject.py, and I will save it on the terminal on my Ubuntu or something. And the next time I just edit this code as simply that it will take the input and give the output. So that's how a good coder, or you could say when you are working in the field, you prepare your project. Because each time I'm not going to run these lines for the 100 times. If I have to run for the 100 files, I'm not going to run these lines one by one on the 100 files. I'll prepare the data set, I'll prepare the code, I'll rearrange the code in the manner like I just have to give input file and the output will be there. But initially when I'm writing the code, I have to check at each step. So I prefer to do it in this step, so that I know, okay, at this step, I need to analyze my data. Okay, my data is fine. Now I have to change into the XY. How I have to change into XY, it's fine. Now I am implementing this. So this is how you write down your code. And sometimes it takes times to build up the code. But when you have to run it for the multiple times, make it in the terminal file or .py coding and just execute it from input to output. Here, what you have to do is, but it will take the exact whole time. Although it's a very less data set, so it's not taking, it's just taking few minutes. But if your import file is something around like 50,000 or 5 lakh rows, so once you will run the whole kernel, so it will take exact the same time as it has taken today. So again, if you run it for the next time, so you just have to start the whole kernel. You just have to restart the kernel. So each line will be executed, but each line will take the same time that has taken today. So that could be, you could say, pros and cons of whatever you say. I hope I'm clear.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Any other query? I'll be happy to take if there is some further queries. I don't think so. There are some further queries. So tomorrow we will try to build some, we'll try to evaluate or build algorithms on different machine learning platforms. So I have chosen 4 to 5 to demonstrate tomorrow, and then we'll see what is coming onto what model is having the best accuracy or what is the best model. So that will be a complete one ML project. On the final day, I'll try to give some other data set and we'll try to execute the thing. So it may be depending upon your interest. You want to do same thing on the classification data, or in the final thing you want to do on the regression data. So that will be your choice. And the Monday presentation I will prepare according to that, but it will be very fast run and go, because Monday will be official day. So I have to run from scratch to everything in a session. So that will depend on you. So you could write down whether you want the final one into the some other data set, the classification only, or some other data set on the regression only, so that you have glimpse of both the classification as well as regression mechanism. Because tomorrow's session I have prepared, but for the Monday session I have to prepare what data set I'm going to deal with, or what are the things. So it's better that if you write down to me in the chat box what you guys prefer. So I'll go with the highest voting. Is it clear what I've said?
Yes, sir. Sir, could you take some biological data related to activity, inactive types, inhibit or non-inhibit?
Yeah, that record
Like your PhD data
that,
set.
that can also be done. That's what I've said. If you want only the classification thing, that's fine. I take the classification model into that. Okay, that's fine. That's what I was asking for them, because but that will be very a fast thing to go, because it's not possible to cover 6-month project into 1-day session. But that will be very fast cover up to go. Maybe I just have written the code and some from myself, and I will just explain the code. It will not be possible to paste every code into the chat box or something into 1-hour session. Maybe I just have whatever the code I am, and I will try to explain it so that you will have the idea of that particular data set. I think regression analysis will be more useful for us. Could you please take sequencing data? Yeah, I have sequencing data right now. I'm working on to that, but that will be hard to cover in one session. If it is a biological data set, we can relate it more easily. So I think flower is also the biological, but it's more of a botanical data. Correlation, regression, PCA, design of experiment. Okay, that you are talking about the regression analysis. That's fine. Anything else? So most of the guys are talking about some sequencing data and the relation regression thing. Okay, PCA, principal component analysis. Any other suggestions? Because I'll prepare accordingly what I'm getting the suggestion for the final presentation of mine. I haven't prepared it, so I'll prepare it by today and tomorrow. So it's up to you what you want to learn on the final session. Because I can go with the sequencing data, I can go with my PhD data set also. I can go with the classification or as well as regression, but it could be only the one thing that is possible. I think it's better that if I choose some sequencing data and go with the regression, yeah, some sequencing data with the regression, that will be fine. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, so okay, I'll prepare what I'm doing right now. So I'll just explain one of my code what I have written. So it is a methylation sequencing coming from the array platform. So it's not exactly the sequencing, but it's you will have the numeric values, and obviously in the sequencing also you have some numeric values to when you have to apply the machine learning. Okay, that will be fine. I'll prepare accordingly. That's fine. So if there is some other query, you could always write down to me. So I'm just pasting my mail ID here. I mostly try to answer as soon as I get time, but I promise you I'll answer each and every query. So so if you have any queries specific to your project or something, because it's not possible to cover each kind of data, but if you are having any trouble, you could always write down to me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So that's all from my side. Tomorrow we will see how to build up the models and how to do, evaluate the performance of the models. Okay, that's all, guys. I think there is no other query, so let's end up the session. We'll see you tomorrow, and you will get the recording very soon, I think. Okay, bye.